Good morning. Hey, excited to be with you here this morning on this Tuesday morning. Make sure everything's working good here. Welcome to the webinar. Today, we're going to be talking about the 4 steps to your next sale. This is going to be fantastic. And let me know that you're out there and you're alive and kicking. So get in the chat box and say, good morning. Good morning. It is time to get going, right? It's already 7:30 on a Tuesday morning. And look what we're doing. We're connecting. We are going to be on top of it today. So great to be with you. I am seeing some awesome people going across the chat. Great to be with you here. So I love doing webinars because you can be wherever you want to be in the world, right? I mean, we all know webinars, how they work, but it is absolutely a miracle, this technology. I just love it. I love it. You're either watching on your phone or you're watching on your computer or your TV, and who knows where you are at. And I just hope if you're driving, be very safe in what you're doing. I have screenshots I'm going to be showing you today, which you can see on your screen. I have screenshots I'm going to be sharing with you and a lot of great insight that I've learned over the last 18 years that has made a big difference for me, and I want to pass it on to you today. So great to be with you. Okay, let's just jump right into this. It's about 4 steps to your next sale, and we're going to make this super concise and simple when it gets to that point, but there's a little bit of a story behind how this works, and so hang in there as I show you this, and you learn along the way. Wow, I see somebody already is in the Q&A box. So if you have any questions along the way as I'm talking, I will pause here and there to take a look at the questions to see what I can answer along the way. Super good. Okay, 73% of all coaches make less than $10,000 their first year, and 40% and more of all coaches don't even get 10 paying clients in their second year. This comes from Stephen Fairley's book, as he's talking about coaches. Whether you've been paid to coach yet or you're in a sales slump, I don't want you to just be another sad statistic, but not because I want you to make money, but because money is not a byproduct of money is a byproduct of living our mission. And here's the thing. I know the torment of feeling like you have a message to share, but struggling to find people to listen, or even struggling to find courage to share your message at all. It can be literally painful knowing deep down that there are people that need what you have to share. So what I want most for you is for you to live your mission. But if you don't believe you can make money doing it, or you've tried and haven't been able to make money doing it, it's hard to sustain that mission or even get started. Money is a resource that helps with that and makes it possible for you to share your message even more and help even more people. So making sales as a coach means you can start and you can stick to your mission. It's okay. We all go through ups and downs, but I want to help you make your next dollar as a coach. So let me share with you the 4 steps to your first or next sale. So my years of experience come from seminars, webinars, keynote speaking, coaching and training. And I've been doing this now for over 18 years, and I absolutely love it. It is the most challenging thing I've ever done in my entire life, and it is the most rewarding experience I've ever had in my entire life. It pushes me to the next level every single day. I have clients that I've worked with all over the world. I've created lots of training videos, over 18,000 hours of experience, delivered over 6,000 presentations, lots of scholarships. We have helped a lot of people get started, been on TV a lot, and then we just reached our 5 million views on YouTube through all of our YouTube videos. And all of this comes to you with clean language and clean stories. You don't have to worry about covering up your kids' ears if they're in the background, because I will not taint or dirty up their ears or their brain. So I got to share with you here really quick before we jump into the 4 steps to your making sales. When I first got married, This is our wedding announcement picture. When I first got married, I was still trying to figure myself out. So much that figuring myself out is that when we got married, this is the kind of trailer we lived in when we first got married, a single axle bumper pulling trailer. And I'm serious, we lived in that for the first couple days of being married. We did not have a house, we did not have an apartment, and I did not have a job. But hey, we're getting married. So I know my wife did not marry me for my money. So why was I so really like unprepared to even get married? Well, it goes back to school. I did not enjoy school. Didn't enjoy it at all. It was very difficult. I struggled learning. The system and me did not match up. It was really tough. So as I got older, I still had that learning challenge of like, how does this work? What's up with my mind? It wasn't until after I had been married and had 2 kids that I finally started doing something about what's up with Kirk Duncan. Like, why am I this way? I need to find out how to activate my brain so that I can start to learn and I can do better. So I started attending workshops and seminars, and I loved learning, but I needed some extra help, some personal development help. So my wife dragged me to a seminar, and I fought the whole way to get there, but I showed up. And these workshops and seminars that I started taking started showing me some things about myself that I realized I needed to change. And one of them was for me to help me understand the philosophies of life that are passed on from one generation to the next generation, like this philosophy. The philosophy is that hard work produces all your results. And that particular philosophy has been passed on a lot, right? From parents to grandparents to, from siblings to siblings, from friends to friends, from bosses to employees. You just got to work hard and then all of your results will go up. But that's not necessarily true, because I worked hard and I know a lot of people who worked hard, but yeah, the results, some people would happen, but it would be a very small percentage of people. But most people, they still struggled with their results. In fact, sometimes even their results were down and they couldn't figure out why. Why, if I work hard, do my results not match up? So the second bit of advice that we're given as people is get a good education. Get a good education and work hard, then everything works out. Again, it's a very small percentage of people where the results actually go up. I know plenty of people who have spent a lot of money on education and they're still broke. They're broke. Financially not doing well, even though they have an education. So this is not the perfect equation to make things work. There's got to be more. And so in my studies and workshops and seminars that I've attended, I realized, wow, I've got to put my life into a routine. I need to be better at what I do, a system, a process. So I started to systemize my life, started to follow some routines, and I started to get a little bit better. Things started to improve even a little bit more. My results started going up with my hard work, my education, and my routines and my systems. Started doing a little bit more. Then I meet some other cool people who introduced me people skills, personalities, how to interact with people, how to listen to people. And it's like, wow, this is a big deal. So my results even started to go up even more, but still they plateaued. I still wondered, what is it? After you go through these categories, what else is left that could actually make an impact in my life that I've never, ever experienced before? And then that's when I was introduced to the concept of mindset. Mindset, like how my mind actually functions. I did not know that there are very specific functions of the mind that if they're functioning low, my results will hover at a lower level. If they function at a higher level, my results are at a higher level. Like my mindset directly impacts my results. So I got fascinated. Like, what is going on with the mind, and especially mine? So I started looking into this and started practicing things, learning things. I started exercising my mind. I did. I would put it to work every morning on certain functions to actually exercise and strengthen my mind and its functions. And my results went up. And they kept going up. And they kept going up. And people started asking me, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm just trying to improve my life. That's all I'm trying to do is fix me. And so people started asking me, what are you doing? Teach me. I was like, you want me to teach you? And I said, okay, here's my short list. The short list is this. For things to get better, I must get better. So if I want my income to go up, I have to get better. If I want more clients, I have to get better. If I want to be happier, I have to get better. I mean, it keeps pointing at me. It keeps pointing at me as like, how am I going to do this? How do you do this? So I started taking more responsibility. And then my list grew a little bit longer. It's like, okay, here's some things Kirk Duncan's going to change and work on. My outlook on life. Okay, that's going to adjust. The words I say to myself. Yeah, I got to get better at that, right? So this is back when I was starting with all this. And then what I focus on and what I imagine. Like, where's my imagination going? Is it about catastrophic things? Is it about how everything's going to fall apart? Or is my imagination like dialed in and focused on what I want to create? And then I started to learn how to control my emotions and how emotions work and be more responsible about my life and what I do and what I don't do. And then I stepped into the realm of forgiveness of others. That was a trip. That is a big, big category of life, how to forgive others. And then the last one, which is still one that all of these I still work on, but the one to have more mercy on myself has been an absolute joy to discover, but also painful to find out how much mercy I have not had on myself. And so this began my list of like personal development. But let me whittle this all down for you, like really whittle this down, because this all impacts your sales. All of this impacts your sales. The way in which you see this, the way in which you see this, these particular categories all come down to this. What direction is my mind going? Am I building my mind? Is it becoming more clear, more focused? Do I have direction? Do I know who I am? Do I know how I can serve others? Am I heading in a positive way or am I heading in a negative way? Am I trashing on myself, comparing myself to everybody? Am I chicken? Am I chicken to do something? Do my fears choke me? Do my fears like stop me? Do I use creative avoidance to get away from things? Do I put things off? Do I not do them for whatever reason? Do I sabotage myself? Like, what's going on? Like, where am I having this happen? And so when you put them together, it looks like this. I have this power inside my head that I can move up or down in my life personally. And we've learned that however we are on the inside, it directly impacts everything on the outside. So the words I use, where my imagination goes, how well I can manage and control my emotions, and also how well I can control and manage my actions. These are the functions of my mind that I know directly impact my results, every single day. Yes, hard work does. Yes, education does. Yes, all these play a factor. But if I'm heading down inside my head or in my emotions or in my words, then it all goes down. It all goes down if inside my head it goes down. It's a direct relation. So it's a big deal. So because I'm learning this and because I'm practicing this and I'm working on these categories and I get it and I see it, what happens is people ask me to teach them. They're like, what are you doing? Okay, I'll show you. Like, here's what you do. Like, do this and don't do this. And here's how you adjust. Like, I'm helping people where first, in the first part of my life, there's no way I would have talked to people. Introvert. I was a massive introvert. But because I got involved with my head, I now can be an extrovert. I wasn't stuck being an introvert. I can be an extrovert when I want to. I can be an introvert when I want to. Now I'm an ambivert. That means you can be both. So I'm not trapped. I'm not trapped because I work on my head. Because I work on myself, I'm not trapped. But unfortunately, I see other people who are trapped. I see them, but not everybody's ready to change or ready to open up their mind. They're not ready for that. But there's a lot of people who are looking for help. I would teach a class like this, where there would be between 500 and 1,000 people. I taught a seminar like this every month for 15 years, sometimes 2 of these in a month. And I'm the guy on stage. And every month, be up in front of people, answering questions, teaching people, having them practice, and doing 3-day seminars with this many people, answering questions, helping people solve where they're stuck, help them solve their relationships, help them solve their money issues, help them solve their sales issues, help them solve their low self-esteem challenges, and how to deal with their kids and how to work with their spouse and how to build a business and how to follow their dreams and how to get super connected to God. Every month, a 3-day seminar for 15 years. There's a lot of people I stood on stage and handled their difficult questions and helped them. And how did it all start? I worked on myself. So that's why I love doing webinars, because today I'm with you. That's the thing, is I'm with you this morning, and this is you and me. This is you and me. And now it's my turn to talk to you. I'm not seeing like this many people. All I care about is you. You showed up, you registered, you're here. I'm talking to you. We're having discussion. I'm going to show you some insight that's going to make a massive difference for you inside your life. So it's an honor to be on your phone or on your computer or your TV right now. It's an absolute honor. In fact, I better make a full showing. Hey, what's up? Good to be with you. So good morning. It's kind of like we're having breakfast together, right? Breakfast with Kirk. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so let's get into this. Okay, so this is a big deal. Now, could this affect your sales? Yeah, this could affect your sales. Could this affect how many clients you have as a coach? For sure. It affects everything. It affects everything. So we'll be coming back to this often to refer to the fact what goes on inside your head really impacts everything. So as I've worked with others and helped them become more strong or answer their questions or just be with them with their relationships, and I even being with people in my home, that's been some of like the most endearing moments, is like just upfront and close and personal. Even being on TV and all the different times we've been on TV, it's a huge deal. So what I want to do is I want to help you today. I want to help you understand what you're probably missing when it comes to sales and why sales is so scratchy, why it's so scratchy and why it's so it just stirs up so much inside you, because there's a psychology part to it, and then there's steps to it. But like I promised in my emails, I'm going to narrow it down to 4 easy to remember steps that are so doable. So you'll do it. So you'll do the steps and you'll have the conversation and feel very natural talking to people, because then that means you can actually have paid clients, do this full time, and be able to really make an impact in people's lives, because you can focus. You don't have to have another job. You can do this full time. It's okay. Hey, if my landscaper can come to my house and plant grass and dig a hole and plant flowers, and I pay him to work on my yard, other people can pay you for you to work on them. If people are going to sell books, they can also pay you to be a coach. Right? So if people are buying books, they can buy you. If people are going to pay to go to school, they can pay to learn from you. So we're no different than any other contractor out there, than any other source. that makes a difference in people's lives. And so we are worth a dinner. We are worth a big steak dinner to somebody else, because if food matters, we matter. So that's how I think of it. It's like, wait a minute, people are paying for all this other stuff out there, and I know something, I want to help them out. Okay, so let's take a look at this, of what this looks like as we move forward here. So, I've got something for you. My next slide reminds me that I have a gift for you, and this is going to help you. It's going to help you with this right here. It's going to help you with this so that you can do better inside your head. Quick little story. This is my sister, Robin. I'm her big brother. So I'm the oldest of 6. I have 4 sisters, and this is Robin. Robin is a sweetheart. She is an absolute angel. And in fact, she is a real angel now. A couple years ago, she woke up, didn't feel well, called her boss and said, hey, I don't feel well. I got to go to the hospital. She went to the hospital and 2 hours later died. It shocked all of us. We did not see it coming. She did not see it coming. From the hospital, she even called her boss and said, hey, I'll be in later today after they check me out. And she literally passed away within a couple hours of going to the hospital. It shocked everybody. So our whole family and all of her friends were just shocked, heartbroken for the longest time. And I still miss her dearly, but she now is my real angel. So she watches over me. She's with me all the time. She follows up with me. She's there for me all the time. And she is such a sweetheart. When Robin was growing up, she had some things happen that were very difficult for her. And she would wrestle with thoughts. She would wrestle with them, thoughts that she had about herself, thoughts that she had about her abilities and if she mattered. And sometimes she questioned that. Sometimes she, didn't do well on some days, and other days she would, be in a good place. But there'd be those days that she wouldn't be doing well inside of her head. And so she would turn to our mom or her friends to talk to work out what was going on inside of her head. So I created a program, and the program is called Mind Warriors. And this is a program that helps kids learn how to manage their thoughts and emotions. It helps kids. Now, I said that this is for you too. So you're still a kid. You're just a big kid. You're older than a kid, but you're still a kid inside. And so I created this program called Mind Warriors. And this program, I'm giving it to you as a gift. It has 4 weeks of content, meaning there's assignments you do for 4 weeks that train you on how to manage your thoughts and to be able to manage your emotions. And the program itself is lined out with videos and also with worksheets. It has videos and worksheets. And on the side here, there is a curriculum that you follow, module 1, 2, 3, and 4 for the 4 different weeks. And each one of them has instructions. It shows you exactly what to do. You have a short video you watch, and then you do that particular exercise for that week. And what it does is it trains you about your thoughts and your emotions so that you can have more self-control. It trains you about your thoughts and emotions so that you can have more self-control. So what I'm doing today is I'm going to give you this program as a gift. And you see in the blue box, it says gift code 3KE gift. So when you go to this site and you see the big purple button in the bottom right corner, it says yes, register, and it says $20 per household. Go ahead and fill out the registration form. Go all the way through it. When you get to the part where you're going to do the billing information, it'll say total due $20. But in this box, the coupon box, type in 3KE gift. Put that in there and click the enter button, and then it puts it to 0. So you can have this program as a gift for you, for your family, for anybody you know who needs help with thoughts and emotions and more self-control. Now, when you register, you're going to get an email that will say, welcome, here's the program, here's how you get access. And then you log in to the site to be able to start to use the content. And you can listen to this while you're getting ready in the morning or while you're driving down the road, and listen to it with the kids in the background, or have your kids sit on the couch and play it on the big TV so that I can teach them about their emotions and their thoughts so that they can have more self-control. So in honor of my sister, Robin, I'm giving this to you as a gift. And I'm also giving you permission to share it. You can text your friends and your family this right here, 3KE.2 Mind Warriors. You can type that in a text and text that to anyone you know who needs help with thoughts and emotions and more self-control, so that they can feel confident and secure about who they are. And so they can feel stronger about who they are, so that the world stuff doesn't beat them up or beat them down. So you type in 3ke.to/Mind Warriors, and you text that to your friend and say, hey, register. Here's the gift code I just got from Kirk on a webinar, and use this program to help your kids, your family, yourself learn about your thoughts and emotions. And by doing so, it's going to give you a higher level of self-control. So there's a lot of people in the world, and there's also a lot of people in the world who don't know about thoughts and emotions and self-control. They don't know how to do that. So they literally feel out of control. And when they feel out of control, they feel hopeless and helpless. And that's not good. That person is going the wrong direction. Helpless, hopeless, directionless. They're heading the wrong direction, which leads to suicide. Suicide starts with negative thoughts, negative feelings inside of a person's head and heart. And that negativity goes down, 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 down until they become super down and depressed. And then they start thinking about not living anymore. So that's why we're doing this. Now, my sister Robin did not choose death by suicide. She had something chemically wrong in her body. They found out she was septic. Is that how you say it? And she didn't even know. She didn't even know that she had that happening in her body. But because I was doing everything I knew how as a brother to help my sister have good thoughts. She's not here on this earth anymore, but I can help you help your sister or your brother or your mom or your dad or your siblings or your own kids or your own spouse or your friend. And so use this code. And I'm serious when I say you can't share it, because what's in this training can help anyone if they're willing to listen to what I'm sharing and watch what I show them. They will get something from it. Now, sometimes people are pretty grumpy and they just, they're just like, I don't want to change, and they just won't listen. And sometimes we can't make people do that, right? So we don't do that. But this will help people have better self-control over the words they use, over their imagination, over their emotions and their actions. It will help them be better people if they will listen and do what I train them to do. It's not a motivational training. It is a training of skill. This is what you do to exercise your mind so that you can be stronger and clearer and focused. And so it helps people become physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually stronger, because it helps with the functions of the mind that matter. So in honor of my sister Robin, you get this as a gift. and pass it along. Cool, huh? I love that. I love that. It's so cool to be able to share that with you. And so share that and then save it on your phone. So when you meet someone, you can say, hey, I got something for you. Use this program. And it will really, really help them. And there's so much in there that you can learn yourself and be able to make a difference in other people's lives. Okay. Story. So we were up camping at a lake, and it was late at night. Nobody wanted to make dinner. And so we decided to drive into town and go get something to eat since we were camping and nobody wanted to cook. So we went in town, ate dinner. We're on the way back to the trailer, and it's late at night, and it's about 10:30 at night. And we realized between my wife and I that one of us, probably me, left the key in the trailer and we locked the door. So we now are going to have to break into our trailer through breaking a window or something. And I didn't want to break a window in my trailer, so I asked Kim to call a locksmith. And she goes, well, we're going to have to wake one up. So we called the locksmith. The locksmith woke up and he says, yeah, can I help you? And we said, we're out at this lake in a campground. We've locked our key in the trailer. Can you come out and help us get our key out? And then we asked, how much is that going to cost? And he says, well, we'll see when I get there. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe $25, maybe 50, So he drives out, he pulls up, he's still in his pajamas, right? Sweats and a t-shirt. He gets out, he opens up this little bag and he looks at our trailer. He selects a tool, walks up to our trailer, sticks it in, wiggles it around. And in 52 seconds, he unlocked the door. Wow. I'm thinking, because it was only 52 seconds, that just saved me a ton of money. So this is going to be cheap. It's going to be like $20 because this guy is super fast. You know where this is going. No, he ends, it's like $115. I was like, what? I was like, wait a minute. And he goes, do you want me to lock this back up? And I was like, no. It's $115 for 52 seconds. Was that fair? Was it fair? 52 seconds and $115. What if you got paid $115 every 52 seconds? But I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, Kirk, hey, the guy had skill and you woke him up and he had to drive out there late at night, right? Like there's all these reasons why the value was there and I needed the help, didn't I? Right. So he had me. I could have called somebody else, but he answered the phone. He's there. Super grateful for this guy to drive clear out to the campground to save us so we could put our kids in the bed that night in the trailer. So was it worth it? $115? Yes. But if you didn't know the story, you could think that the guy ripped me off. Like if I didn't tell the story and I just said, hey, I'm going to charge you $115 for 52 seconds of help. I think most people would be like, that sounds really expensive. For less than a minute, it's $115. What are you, some kind of heart surgeon? And they would be like, oh, you better be really good at what you do if you're going to charge that much. Isn't it interesting how people perceive money and time and value? Money, time, and value. And so as a coach, as you are becoming a coach and learning how to be a coach and learning how to offer your coaching program, you have inside your head stories and experiences from your past about money, time, and value. We've all been ripped off. We've all been taken advantage of. We've all lost money on something or bought something that broke or bought something that wasn't what we thought it was. And so we're very leery and super hyper-focused about making sure we're getting our value. And so when you hear it's $115 for 52 seconds, you probably would turn away from that and be like, no, I don't want that, unless you heard the story, right? Unless you heard the story and went, oh, you were camping. Oh, you left the key in the trailer. Oh, okay, now it's valuable. So notice what I just pointed out. The value is there if you hear the story. Most coaches don't tell the story of what they do for people. What they do is they end up saying, and you might be doing this too. You might be telling people, oh, hey, I'm a coach. Do you want to be coached? And people are like, what? And you're like, yeah, it's $500 for 3 appointments. What? That's like $130, $133 an hour? No way. That's like expensive. And so out of context, somebody's going to think you're really expensive. And so guess what you're going to do? You're going to lower your price too far down and be thinking, wow, this isn't really, I don't know if this is worth it or not. But the way in which you tell the story about you as a coach dramatically impacts the value, the perceived value of what it is that you do. Just like the locksmith in my trailer. If I go tell people I paid $115 for 52 seconds of service one day for a person, and they'd be like, what? You know, and you get this. It's like, whoa, but hold on a second. You got to take a look at, first thing to look at is, how do you describe yourself as a coach and what you do? And when I work with people one-on-one or in classes, that's my first question is like, tell me what you do. I want to hear it. And that's where the fumbling and the tripping and the hold on a second. And it's not smooth. And usually they don't look me in the eye. Usually they're all energy's all weird and funky. It's just all, you know, and all I did was ask them, what do you do? That is the number one place to start, is how you describe what you do. Because sooner or later, somebody's going to ask you, oh, so what do you do for a living? And then when you go, well, I'm a coach, they don't know what that is. People don't know what a coach is. They don't know what they do. When they think coach, they think soccer coach, baseball coach, football coach. Like, so you're into sports or fitness or what? And you're making them guess what it is that you do. What do you do? A coach means, I don't know. Now, if you're on social media and you see people talking about coaching, and I don't know if you know this or not, did you know that when you're on social media and you talk about you being a coach, all the algorithms then send you everybody else's coaching advertising? But it looks like everybody's a coach. No, the algorithms just send to you what you talk about because that's what you're interested in. So it makes you think that everybody in the world's coaching. It makes you think the world is swamped with coaches. If the world was swamped with coaches, we would not have as many issues in the world as we have today. So obviously, there's not enough coaches. Divorce is on the rise, bankruptcy is on the rise, kids who have issues with their parents is on the rise, suicide's on the rise. It's like there's not enough coaches. So just because you see it all over the place on social media, that means the algorithms have sorted out who you are and they're sending you that information. So there's not enough coaches. So to assume that the person you're talking to knows what a coach is, they don't. So when you give them a short description like, oh, I'm a life coach. And what is that? They have no idea. So you're kind of messing it up right in the beginning. Not that you're doing this on purpose. You probably just did not know, but you need to write out a paragraph of how you describe yourself as a coach. How do you do this? So that if I ever talk to you or ever ask you, so what is it that you do? Because a neighbor, friend, or family member is going to ask you. And you can't describe yourself. That shows low value because you can't even say it. So right off, no matter what your price is, it's too high because the way you describe yourself is of low value. The way you describe yourself needs to have a higher value than what your price is. Your description of who you are and what you do And what it's like needs to be higher than the price that you offer for your coaching. That's where you want to get first. Now, how do you check it? You write this paragraph. How do you check it? How do you look at it and make sure it's a good paragraph? Well, you write the paragraph, then you call your friend up and say, hey, I got to practice something on you. I'm going to read to you what I do, who I am, what I do as a life coach. And then ask your friend, does that make sense? Am I missing anything? Is this boring? Have your friend give you feedback. And then call a family member. And then call another friend. And then test it on your neighbor. Test it on the person. Test on the person at the grocery store saying, hey, I'm working on this thing, trying to describe what I do. And it's new for me. I love what I do, but it's hard for me to describe. Can I tell this to you while we're standing in this long line at the grocery store? And tell them. But if you don't nail down this first piece, but Kirk, I'm still trying to figure out what I do. It's okay. Maybe your paragraph is a little small. And you're like, well, what do I put in this? Well, the first thing I'd put in this paragraph is why you want to coach. Why do you want to coach? There's got to be some kind of story that stirred you. I just told you my story. I was struggling and I wanted to get better. And so I went to classes. I told you my story of where this came from. But what's your why? Why do you want to be a life coach? So that needs to go in the paragraph is why. Why do you want to be a coach? Second part you could put in that paragraph is who do you want to coach? Who do you feel led to coach? And then the third part is, how's it going to turn out for that who? How's it going to turn out for that person if you coach them and when you coach them? So let's say you want to work with teenagers. Here's the story why you want to coach and you want to work with teenagers. And then when you work with teenagers, what's the hopeful change or transformation that happens? What do you hope is different for that teenager because you got a chance to coach them? So why coach, who you want to coach, and the possible outcome. That makes a great description. Oh, it's so rich with humanity in there because it's like this calling that emerged for you. This moment happened. And so you decided to do this. And this is who you feel led to work with. And you have all these thoughts about, wow, if I could help people, I could help them do this. And then you're thinking, and then I hope it changes their life this way. So it's why, who, and the possible outcome. You don't have to put in there all the steps, all the techniques, all the lessons you're going to teach. You don't have to talk about all the content. It's the who, it's the why, the who, and the possible outcome. Now, notice I say possible because the other person, who knows if they're going to do the action steps, right? Who knows if they're going to listen? Who knows if they're present and focused? So they're a variable, right? So it's a possible outcome. But to me, whenever I help individuals get crystal clear about what it is that they do, and they can tell that paragraph, the next time a family member who doesn't know, or a distant relative, a friend, a neighbor says, hey, so what is it that you do? Oh, well, I'm a life coach and I got into this because, and then that's your why story. And I want to help teenagers or single moms or single dads or couples or entrepreneurs. And when I help them, I really want this to turn out this way for them and help them change this. That person is going to be like, wow, this is like inspiring. Now they know what a life coach is. You don't have to make them guess. And then you finish it off with, I love it. I know I'm meant to do this. I love it. That's what you finish it with, that. Like, I just love this. Because if you back this recording up, you will hear me say, and I love this. It's the best thing I've ever done. It's the most challenging thing I've ever done, but it's the best thing I've ever done. So this very thing I'm showing you to do, I just did at the beginning of this webinar. You didn't hear it happen. You didn't see it happen. But if you go back and watch this again, you will see me do the story of why, and then who I like to work with, and then the possible outcome. And then you'll hear me say, because I love it. It's challenged me. It's been the best thing and the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. It's so good. But when you can do this and the person asks you, like, what do you do? And you share this, you will feel a power in your body. You want to know why? Because you're using words to describe who you are. You're using a vision of what you can do for people. And then your heart will just burst open with so much energy because it's about humanity. It's about you serving people and making people's lives better. It like connects you. So it goes your mind and your heart and humanity. Boom. It just boom, boom, boom. It's just like so good. So good. Okay. You got to tell me, is it, what do you think? Is this good? Is it good? And is it doable? So I'm trying to break this down, like where you really are kind of got a flat tire. We got to fix this tire so you can roll better. You got to be able to roll better. And when it's time to punch the gas, you can roll, right? You can go. So yes. Okay, good. So if you and I had a personal conversation right now, I'd be asking you, okay, tell me what you do. And I'd be listening. Like if you get it, and when you go to say it, your energy ought to go up. It ought to go up. So sometimes when you go to say this, you got to put energy in it to get energy out of it. Sometimes the pump, the well, the water's there. Sometimes the pump gets dry and you got to prime the pump to tap into the well, the reservoir underground. Sometimes you have to prime that pipe. I did that as a kid. My dad would say, hey, go out, prime the pump. We got to water the lawn. So I'd go out, take the lid off, unscrew it, stick the garden hose down there. I'd fill the pipe full of water. I'm like, Dad, why do we have to put water in the pipe to get water out? And he says, because when it's empty, it doesn't have enough power to pull it up. So if you have to give energy to this description, like if there's just no energy, it's because your brain doesn't know that this is your thing. It just doesn't know. It doesn't know, give energy to it. But when you prime it with energy, when you say it, when you practice it with your friend or the mirror, or whatever you're doing, you're practicing and you give it some energy, it's going to feel fake because the energy is not coming from your reservoir deep down inside of you. You're having to put in water in your pipe. And so when you have to put water into your pipe to prime yourself, it feels like, oh, this just isn't me. Yeah, because you're empty and you're hollow and your pipe has no water in it. That's why it feels weird, because you had to use a garden hose to fill you up to prime your pipe. So when the pump is on, boom, now it can pull from that reservoir. But we have to prime ourselves. So if you ever heard the term fake it till you make it, the real thing that's going on is energy. We're priming the pump of energy. Give it energy so that when the pump gets moving, it's pulling from the deep reservoir of energy inside the deep parts of your soul. And for some reason, when I have people practice their descriptions and I cause them to prime their pipes, right, to prime the pump, they're just like, oh, this just feels so awkward. And sometimes I just want to say, yeah, because you're a dry pump. And that's the awkward feeling, is you're finding out you're a dry pump. Not because you're putting energy in it. That's not the weird thing, is you're actually waking up to the fact you are a dry pump. You can't pull up energy. You don't have any in your pipe. You got nothing. That's what your recollection is like, whoa, I don't have energy, but I'm going to blame the fact I'm going to put energy in me. That's the weird thing. Energy coming into your pipe feels weird because it's like it's coming from some other source because you have to push it to happen. And when people say, oh, it just doesn't feel authentic. Yeah, because you're authentically dry as a pump. And we're going to put water in you so you can actually have the reservoir of energy whenever you need it. So it's very interesting to listen to people complain and give some pushback to the awkward feeling of priming. But this paragraph is not normal for you to say because you're dry. You're dry. You got to just know you are dry. So you're going to have to add energy to it and prime it. And if you're like, oh, this feels so weird, keep priming until your own natural energy comes up. You see, when people say be authentic, that means have a reservoir of energy you're pulling from. That's your own, that's your energy. That's the Kirk. That's your side of who you are. That's where you're trying to get to of being authentic. And some people, they prime their pump a tiny bit and think the pump should pump out thousands of gallons of energy every minute. It's like, no, it doesn't happen that way. You've got to prime it enough to activate that pump. And some people, they have to prime it more than others. Some other people, they hardly have to prime it and bam, it's on, because you can hear in their voice it coming from their soul. Not just from their voice, it's coming from their soul. So it takes head talking to activate heart talking. So you have to say it until you feel it. Say it till you feel it. You say it to prime it. And once your pipe is primed and full and you keep doing it, it will pull up the feeling. And now you're going to get emotional. And you know what emotional means? That means you're going to get passionate. And then you're going to get like on fire, relentless. Nobody can shut you up. That's the juice you want flowing through your body, is your passion. But it's in a reservoir down in your soul. So you have to use your head to say it enough to get the pipe primed so it pulls from your heart. And then you're going to get emotional. And some people freak out about the emotional. They're like, oh, this is so emotional. I can't believe I'm crying. And they think it's a bad thing. It's like you're coming alive. It's like, come on, you're finally alive. You're not this empty, dry pump. You actually now have this living energy pumping out of you. And guess what people want? Energy. People want energy. They pay for energy every day. Food is energy. Gas for your vehicle is energy. Electricity is energy. Connecting with people is energy. That's what everybody wants, is energy, because when you run out of energy, you die. And there's too many people walking around close to death because they have little to no energy. But if you can pull from your soul and have this energy flowing from you, people are going to ask you, what do you do? And how are you doing that? How do you have energy coming from you? And literally they're saying, I'm a dry pump. I don't know how to prime. They don't know how to prime. And so they're going to ask you to teach them how to activate their reservoir of energy. That's what they're going to ask for. But you got to have it first. And you know what I find? 8 out of 10 coaches are dry pumps. 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 can't even produce the energy. They say it, but there's no feeling behind it. And another part is they don't know how to describe what they do. So if you want to be authentic and you want to be natural, you want this to be easier, you got to get in your head what you're going to say, and you prime your pipe. And it might take you 5 times saying it. It might take you 5 days. It might take you 2 months. I don't know how dry your pump is, but here's the thing. You write out this description. You write it out, and then you say it enough until your pipe is full and you start to cry and you start to feel a feeling. You cannot describe where it comes from, but now you know it comes from your reservoir, and it comes up and it takes over your body. It's called passion. That's what's lacking, is passionate coaches. There's too many coaches trying to be perfect coaches. Too much focus on perfection, or you have to be so qualified, or you have to have so many certificates, or your content has to look so perfect. They lack passion because they seek perfect. It's a whole different creature. Perfect will happen after passion carries you there, but you can't get to perfect without passion. You won't stick with it long enough. You won't get there. Won't happen. Guaranteed. I've seen too many people try to make their content so perfect, make everything so perfect before they sign up their first client. They have to have all their website and all of their payment information and all this stuff and all their slides and all their content, everything, before they will actually enroll somebody. That person is not in passion. They're in their head. They're in their head. It's easy for me to see a coach who's in their head because they don't have clients. Very easy to see. Oh, you don't have clients? You're in your head. And you're not moving yourself to activate your passion. Oh, I'm passionate, Kirk. Then where's the clients? Where are they? Oh, you don't want to sell. Oh, that's right. You're hung up on price because you don't have passion. Like I can see it a million miles away. I've been doing this a long time. That's why we're starting with this first. So you got to write the paragraph. And in the chat box, tell me, what are you going to put in the paragraph? I've said it like 5 times. Get in the chat box, tell me, what's the components of the paragraph? There's 4. What are they? I'm waiting. Someone get in the chat box and type it out. There's 3, but then I threw in this last piece. This last piece, what is it? There's the why, the who, and the I should probably not talk this too fast. Okay, you're getting it. The why, the who, and the possible outcome. There you go, Misty. Possible outcome. And then, yep, you got the last one. And I love it. And it's challenging. And it's okay to tell people, this is the toughest thing I've ever done, but I love it. See, that catches their attention. It's like, what? You do something that challenges you and you like it? You're weird. Because everybody's looking for comfort. They're all looking for easy. They're all looking for microwave and cook your dinner in 2 minutes kind of a thing. They're not looking for something to be challenging and love it. Like, who does that? That's like becoming extinct, like dinosaurs. It's like, wow. And so for you to say, oh, it's the toughest thing. I'm working on myself and I'm teaching other people and it's challenging. I love it. So it's the who. No, sorry, I always say the who. It's the why, the who, the possible outcome for them, and then that you love it. And then what do you do when you have this? Tell me, what do you do with this paragraph? What are you going to do? Tell me in the chat. Speak up. I'm watching. I can see right here. I can see if your name pops up or if you're just kind of sitting back waiting for everybody else to do the work. Okay, tell me. You practice. Say it to your friend, random people. Practice. Say it till you feel it. Okay, I'm looking for a very particular word. You're going to say it to do. There we go, Misty. You got it. Write it, practice it, and prime the pump. Whoever's on the chat right now, say it. I'm going to prime my pump. I'm going to prime my pump. I'm going to prime my pump. I'm going to see it. Prime the pump, prime the pump, prime the pump. There we go. There we go. There we go. That's right. We got to do that. Right, Greg? Right, Stephanie? Right, Debbie? Right, Lydia? Right, Shauna? Right, Daniel? You know, we got to prime the pump and you got to think to yourself, do I feel this? Do I feel this paragraph? Because this is what happens. Let me tell you what happens. I've had people I'm coaching say to me, well, when I read this, I don't feel it. And I want to say out loud, because you're a dry, dusty old pump. I'm not putting them down. I'm just telling them where they're at. But listen to what they just did. We go through this whole description. We write this paragraph. They say it a few times. And then they're going to say to me, When I say this, and I've only said it 5 times, I'm not feeling it. So I don't think this is authentic. Huh? Are you serious? Are you serious? You think 5 times? You're so brainwashed by a drive-through mentality that you should only say it 5 times, and you should be able to pick up your bag of passion at the second window. Really? I'm sorry, this is not a drive-through thing. This is literally a function of your body. The reason why you don't feel it is because you got a deep pipe that's dry. You're probably gonna have to say it 1,000 times before you're gonna feel it, but you cannot stop or you'll go on to something else. Because nobody else will teach you this. Nobody else will address this with you, that you have to prime the pump. Where else have you heard this? Where else have you got this kind of description to clarify why you are not full of passion and naturally talking to people and having paid clients? Because you don't have the passion. You're just a head talker. You're just head talking people, head talking them, no passion, no energy. So they don't feel it. If you don't feel it, they don't feel it. Write that down in your notes. Really important to nail that one. If you don't feel the passion when you talk about it, they can't feel the passion when you talk about it. If you're saying it and you got no juice behind it, no energy behind it, where's that supposed to come from? You're supposed to just have juice fall out of the air on people about what you're doing and you can't even feel it? So guess what we need to set up? You need to be priming your pump with your description as a coach as much as possible every day to get that pipe full of energy to pull on that reservoir deep down inside that you now are going to become emotional. People call it passion. I'm going to call it emotional, because emotion is power. It's humanity power to connect to each other. The other human being you're talking to is an emotional human being. And if you can't be positive in your own emotion and be comfortable with that emotion, you won't be able to move the emotions of others. And if you can't move people emotionally, they don't change. It takes 2 parts to change: head and heart. And if you can't be emotional about your coaching business, if it's not there, you won't have the power to cause somebody to change, because they won't feel emotion if you're not feeling emotion. If you're shallow, they're shallow, and it's just a bunch of chit chat, a bunch of head work. And then they'll have to go find another coach who actually is in emotion, a good emotion, a powerful emotion, because they're in it. Their reservoir is active. It's flowing inside of them and outside of them, and it goes everywhere. It's awesome. I'm not talking like you're crying all the time. I'm talking that your essence of who you are radiates from you. Radiates. That's what happens when your pump is on and your pipe is primed. Then it comes up and it comes out and people feel it and they're like, I want some of that. How'd you do that? Where are you getting that? They're like, where'd you get that? It's like, it's inside. It's inside. Now, all you spiritual people out there, you're going, oh, but Kirk, it's not all you. And I go, I know. I have a reservoir that comes from another reservoir, but we're not talking about that today. We're talking about priming the pump. Good? Good. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. And I see you responding. I see you getting it. If we ended right now, this would be so big for you. And you're going to say, oh, but Kirk, I already do this. Do you have paid clients? If you don't have paid clients, free clients are awesome. Free clients are awesome. But that's a paid clients is a way that they're willing to give you some of their energy that they received when they spent their energy. So money is energy. So if I had an hourly job, I then go spend energy to get a form of energy, which is money. Then now I got to choose, where do I want to spend this energy in this dollar form? Where do I want to spend it? So I think about where I want to spend this money, and I don't want to spend this energy that I received on something that's low energy, like a dry pump coach. Why would I spend my hard-earned energy on a low energy coach? Because I won't get it back. I won't get a return on my investment. It's not going to happen. So that's why people hold on to their money and they don't pay you, because your energy is lower than the money they have. So they would rather keep their money because your energy is underneath that amount that you're asking for as a coach. So dollar bills and bank accounts, it's a quantifiable way to measure energy. That's what it is. It's energy. Took energy to get it. And when you spend it, you get all different forms of energy. So if someone's not paying you, it's because they're telling you your energy, your passion, what you have to give off is lower than what you're asking for. And I know you don't want to hear that. You're like, no, I'm worth more. You can say that all day long with your head, but they're telling you, based upon their experience talking to you and based upon their experience of what they're hearing you can do, that your energy is lower than the money you're asking to be paid. And people don't want to hear it. They want to just dance around that and have that not be true about themselves, because people have faked themselves out in their head that their energy is high. But the time you want to check your energy is when nobody's around and you're alone with your own thoughts and your own emotions. Where are you then? There's your true mark of energy. We can be bubbly and be nice and happy around everybody around us. That's all head. That's head. And you could head energy and fake everybody out all you want. But the real energy comes from heart and is pulsing from you every second of every day. And so when a coach cannot get a paid client, because all it is an exchange of energy, they're going to give you dollar form energy because they see you have more energy than the money that they have. So they want to learn from you. How did you get there? They'll pay you. And I've had clients, personal clients of mine, get so stinking mad at me. Then they say, that is not true. I say, okay, well then you tell me what's true. All your 15 years of study and working with audiences of 500 to 1,000 people every single month for 3 days for 10 hours a day. You tell me how this works then. Why can't you get a paid client? Because all it is energy. And you see, people don't want to know where they really are. They don't weigh themselves. They don't check their bank account. They don't check their emotional account. They don't check their spiritual account, and they don't check their social account. They don't check it. They just pretend like everything's okay. But we could go to their house and we could look in their house, look in their closet, look in their kitchen, look in their pantry, look in their bank account, look in their fridge, look at their social life, and you can see where a person's at. But everybody's trying to act like everything's fine. Everything's fine. Interesting, isn't it? That's why we start out with this story. You create this paragraph, you prime the pump, you get your heart pumping the passion through your bones, your skin, your muscle, so it comes through your skin, not just out your mouth. That's not real energy. When it only comes out your mouth, that's head talk. Real passion comes from your skin. All over your body, it just comes out. It radiates, not comes out. And unfortunately, that's where most coaches are at. When I say most, I'm talking 8 out of 10. even creeping in on 9 out of 10. They work really hard on their content. They work really hard on their content. They work really hard on their content because they think their coaching program is all about content. It doesn't matter later, sure. But what matters the most is the coach. Because when you're not in that passion energy, you are not in tune at the level you could be with that client. And they can tell. They can sense it. They know when you're a head coach. But I'll tell you today, people are looking for heart coaches. That's what they're looking for, because they want somebody who's real, not just selling coaching. They want real coaching, not sold coaching. Because they can feel when coaches are only selling it to make a buck. They can tell. People are getting smarter. They're not dumb. They're figuring it out. They're figuring it out, and they're telling each other where to go for a coach that is going to be in tune, and it's going to real passion, real coaching is going on. It's heart coaching. And heart includes the head because it takes the head to get the heart started. Okay, hope this makes sense. Hope you're getting it. Hope you're taking notes, because this is how it works, and this is where you got to start. Okay, so let's get on to the rest of my slides, and we should be done by 2:00 today. So let me get into this other stuff here that I have for you. But that was the most important piece. But I got some other juicy things for you here that are so good, because I want you to get your next paid client, because now that person has somebody good to work with, and you can teach them what you've been inspired to teach them, and you can do a good job. And if anything I've said has offended you, it's because you were already sore. All I did was strike a nerve or touch a wound. I'm not the bad guy. I'm the guy here to help you adjust and fix what's not working. And so if I'm poking around and something poked you and you're like, oh, I'm sick of Kirk, and you're about ready to click off, that's your own owie that you already had before we got on this call. So you got to get that looked at. That's what I'm talking about, is we're talking about the things that are not functioning well so you can function well. Somebody needs to talk to you about what you're doing and help you get really straightened out how this works. That's why I'm here. Because if you don't get this straightened out, you're going to struggle, and then you'll quit. Or your family will be like, what, are you still doing that thing? Do you even have any clients yet? Oh, it's so brutal. So brutal. Ugh. Okay, so let's keep this going. So that all stemmed from my 52-second story. So when there's an exchange, there's money that is a form of energy, education that's a form of energy, experience that's a form of energy. All this was gathered through energy spent, energy invested, and this is a form of energy. So sales is an exchange of energy. That's what it is. And so it makes sense that you do need to work on your personal energy. And that means you want to work on what's going on inside your head. And that's why I gave you this program, and that's for teenagers and families and kids, but maybe you should watch it too, so you can learn how this all works, right? Okay, so lemonade stands, what are they doing? They're selling sugar, aren't they? It's so funny. Boy, they pack the sugar. I think for this 50-cent cup of lemonade here, I probably got 3 cups of sugar. There was so much sugar in it. But they have a price, they have a stand, they are marketing to people, right? They're like, oh, I'm marketing. And so they're on the side of the road, and it's super enticing when it's summertime, right? And they have their lemonade stands, and sometimes they're on each corner. You can have competition. And there really are a lot of lemonade stands out there in the world, which I think is endearing. And so is it okay for you to have your own coaching stand? Can you do it too, along with everybody else? And how many people do you think are actually coaches out there in the world? You take the population, what percentage of the population is actually a coach? Do you know that it's less than 1%? Do you know that there's more than 99% of people who are not coaches? But social media, because the algorithms sure make it look like it, everybody else is, doesn't it? And all these seminars and people running these seminars, but it's still less than 1%. There is a wide open world out there of people to coach. But if you don't have paid clients, it's because you don't have the passion, your pipe's not functioning. And so that's why we're talking about priming your pump, right? But just so you get your head clear around this, so so the devil doesn't get in your head and make you feel like there's already 99% coaches out there. That's not true. That's not true. But then there's this group of people who actually asks to be paid for their lemonade. When we pulled up to this lemonade stand right here, this little boy came up and knocked on our window, and we rolled down the window and he says, "Give me the money." It's so stinking cute. So we filled that little hand full of every quarter, nickel, and dime and penny we could find in our car. It was so cute. But he actually puts a really good point. It was like, how do you ask for money? Right? So let's talk about that. How does that even work? What does that look like? And then we're going to put this all together in a framework. You want to stay and get this framework. I'm talking about the components, but I'm about ready to get close to giving you the framework that makes this easy to remember. Okay, so let's talk about the journey of the client, the customer. Here they are. They already have something in their life, but they see that there's other things in life that could be better. Whatever it is, relationships, finances, health. They want a new couch. They want a new house. They want have more vacation. They want to go shopping. Whatever their thing is, people see that there's something better. And in the middle, they're trying to figure out, hey, if I did want this or want to do that, what do I got to do? So they're wondering. People, every person today is wondering how to get from here to there, whatever it is. But every human being guaranteed has something already, but they're also seeing something else, which is fine. It's all about progress. It's all about life and experiences and everything. So we call this point A and we call this point B. They're at point A heading to point B, and they want to be able to get here, but they're trying to figure out, how does this whole thing work? How do they get there? So people today are thinking, you need to know this as a coach. Every person you pass by in the store, every person you pass by on the freeway, every person you see walking down the street is thinking, what do I do to get where I want to go or do what I want to do? They're thinking, how do I do this? They're wondering, they're searching, they're trying to find an answer for whatever's going on in their life. They're searching. Every human being is looking for something. And the reason why this is important is because when you're talking to someone, find out what theirs is. What is it that they're working towards? What is it? Because if you don't know this, it makes being a coach and talk about being a coach to people really difficult, because you're wondering, well, why would this person need a coach? And that's a very greeny or newbie way of thinking, is like, well, I can't understand why a person would want me as a coach. And I'm telling you, every person is trying to figure something out in their marriage, with their kids, with their house, with their system, with finances, with God, with social connections, with their parents, with their everything, all kinds of things they're working on. So when you're talking to people, this is the conversation to have. Is like, hey, how you doing? Oh, good. Oh, yeah. What are you up to? That's this. What are you up to? Oh, we're just doing stuff. No, really, like, what are you working on? That's the big secret right there in conversation, is what are you working on? This is the working on. And where are you headed? What's your project? What's your thing? Find out what they're thinking about. Find out what they're struggling with. Find out what's on their mind besides the weather. Find out. Every human being is thinking every day how to solve something, how to do something, how to get somewhere, or how to have something. It's the same thing every day with every human being. Everywhere. No matter where you travel in the world, it's the same thought process. When you've done coaching, as long as I've done coaching, you start to figure out what's common amongst us as human beings. What are you working on? What's up? Where are you headed? What's on your mind? What's your project? What's your goal? What's next? This conversation is absolutely incredible to have with another human being. Now, they're going to play very shallow with you because they don't realize you're really interested in their life. Most people don't get past the weather, the family, and work. That's it. And maybe some play. Like, oh, what are you doing for fun? That's it. That's the end of the conversation. This is personal. What are you working on? What are you trying to do? It's personal. So after you get through the weather, the kids, the family, work, and what's fun, ask the person, what are you doing? Have that be what you really want to find out from anybody you ever talk to is what's their thing. This right here is me figuring out what's their thing, what's their next point that they're trying to get to in their life, and in what category, and what is it? What category of life, and what is it that they're working on? Because then we're going to find out that something isn't working, that there's a problem, and just maybe I could be the solution or part of the solution. Maybe I could help in a little bit. And so what this is called, it's called the gap between point A and point B. They don't know what to do next. Something's up. They don't know what to do. And that's what I want to find out is what do they not know how to do? Where do they need help? Where do they need advice? So they are looking for guidance, advice, education, or help, something inside the gap between point A and point B. This is where you play the role in other people's life, is you are in the gap. You are this person. And when you realize this is your place to be here for them, to help them get to point B, you play this role in some way with something you know, some skill you have, some education you have, some support. You are doing this by being a coach. Whatever kind of coach you are, you're still in the gap. That's where all coaches fit, is between point A and point B. We're right here. If they're working on their personality, their behavior, their emotions, their thoughts, their team, their business, you're in the gap. I'm here, you're here. We're all here in the gap, figuring out how we can play this position at the best level possible to help as many of them get through the gap to where they want to go. And we're coaching them through the gap to get there with whatever our experience, education, skill is. We're moving people through the gap. Because usually people get into the gap, they freak out, and they go back to where they're at. You know that. You've done that yourself. I should really do this. Oh, crap, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to go back. It's because you didn't have a coach. Coaches help people not turn around and go back. That's what coaches do. We help people keep going. Go, 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 go. Do this, yep, go, 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 go. You made it. That's the cool part, is we get to be there for them. We play the role in the gap. Cool, right? So when you get this, that every person is looking for something, then you got to ask yourself, okay, what I have to offer, how's this going to serve them? How will it change them? This is the possible outcome, right? In the paragraph that you're going to write and read every day to prime your pump. So now you got heart energy all over everything. What better things would they be able to do if I coach them? How does this save them time? How does this improve their life? And the questions could go on and on of you playing the role in the gap. So it comes down to these questions. Who do you want to work with? What are you going to do to help them? And who are you? So the paragraph I shared with you, why do you want to do this? Why do you want to do this? I kind of said that back to here's you, there's them. That switched on me. Okay, so here's you. Who are you? What can you offer them? And who do you want to work with? So when these three questions, they get answered by that paragraph we talked about at the beginning, but now we're going a little bit deeper. We're going a little bit deeper. So we put this together to go, okay, why do you want to do this? Who do you want to work with? How's it going to turn out? And you believing that you can be a coach. These are big components. And so the paragraph I talked about is a great place to start. So when it comes to you're in the conversation, right? You're in the conversation because we're leading up to the sale. This is all a natural conversation because they're here. They want to get here. They're chatting with you. You're talking to them. You're seeing that there's a chance that you can do something here and there could be a new client happen from this. And now they have you in their life. So the framework is this. Everything I've talked about so far has to do with connecting to the person and discovering where they're at. Connecting to them, because now you know you play the role in the gap. While you're in the gap, you're trying to find out, okay, what are you working on? What's happening? And you're looking to find more and more information about how they're doing. So this is a conversation. This is not a sales pitch. It's a conversation to find out how they are, who they are, where they're going. And because you're being interested, they already feel something's different. You're not like everybody else. You're giving them personal attention, connecting to them, talking to them, discovering where they're at, and going, hey, what are you working on? Where you're going? And you're like really keeping it personal with them. And so they're like, wow, this is happening. And they're sharing more with you than other people. And they probably will even say that to you is like, wow, I'm shared with more with you than I have with anybody ever. This is where the coach, you will lose the sale, is you will go from connect to discover to solving the problem. So if you go connect to the person, discover what's going on, and then you're like, hey, this is what you do, you just gave them free advice. And you can give people free advice all day long. Free advice does not pay the bills. Unless you can find a way to get paid for it. Like, let's say you open up a YouTube channel, and now YouTube, because of all of your followers, pays you because of all your followers for marketing. That's a way to connect, discover, and give solutions. That's a way to do that. And you're doing it for free. But now YouTube is paying you, not clients paying you. And that's great because that's another way to make money, but that's not what we're going to talk about today. We're talking about you enrolling a client in a natural way. Okay, so there's lots of other ways to earn money, but this is what generally happens to somebody who does a lot of free coaching. They connect, they discover, and they do a great job, and then they jump right into solution. And problem is not even in there. The solution they give is the answer to what's going on. So they throw this out of whack. So let me show you how this really works. So you connect, you discover. Like, wow, okay, so you're wrestling with this. Okay, I see that you're wrestling and you've got a challenge right here. And you've got a challenge because you're not clear about where you're going. You're not sure what to do. Okay, that's real. That's a big deal. Yeah. Wow. What are you going to do here? And the person says, I don't know what to do. So they are now clear on their problem. And you can see, wow, this has got a lot of complexity to it. Okay, this is something that I am not going to give advice in 15 minutes that's going to make a difference. This needs to be actually a series of appointments. And you can tell them, hey, I'm listening to you. And I'm really noticing you really could get where you want to go. But I'm hearing that there's multiple things here that are some challenges. I think if I could meet with you a couple times, we could figure this out, but it's got a couple layers to it and some steps to it. But you could get where you want to go, and I could help you. But it looks like we're going to have multiple conversations. And so what you're doing is you're actually addressing the problem and calling out like, oh, well, this is what I see. And now you're offering yourself as a solution. The person then asks, well, what is it that you do? Oh, I'm a life coach. And the reason why I got into being a life coach is this. And you're the right kind of person that I work with. And when I work with people, this is the outcome that can happen. And I love it. I love doing this. And if you want to get through these problems, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. And they're like, what does that mean? And I said, oh, well, we would have some appointments and we would meet and I would help you through this gap from where you're at to where you want to go. Cause there's just some things you don't know. And I know the answers to this. And then they ask, well, okay, tell me more about this. Yeah, I think if we held 5 appointments and we met for an hour, each of those appointments with like a week or 2 in between, you could take action on what I could teach you. And you could work yourself through this problem and possibly this other one. We'd have to see how well you do on the assignments, but I could work with you. So now they're listening to you provide a solution that is an organized solution of where to get the advice. So now this is the framework. So you have one way where you can connect, discover, and give advice, and it's over. Or you connect, discover, clarify where the challenges are. Do they really want to work on them? And then you're providing yourself as the solution with a number of appointments, an amount of time, and specific things you're going to do to help them to see if this solution is attractive to them. But this is all a conversation. You connected, you discovered, they shared with you what's going on, and you can see it's not just going to be a little bit of advice. It's like, wow, okay, I can see an opportunity here that they really want to get through this, but it's going to take more than one conversation. I'm going to offer my coaching as a solution to them. And so now you're not selling it, you're providing a solution. That's different than selling. Selling is, hey, I'm a coach and I have packages. And do you want to hire me? Without even finding out all this other information, now you're selling. Now, is it still a sale when they purchase? Absolutely. It's a sale because it's an exchange of energy. But I like having a discussion. I like connecting to the person. I like discovering what's going on. I like talking about really what are the problems here. And they can see that I can see what the problems are. Like they can see that I see it. And they're like, wow, you know what's wrong? Yeah, I can see what's wrong. You do? Do you know how to fix these things? Yeah, I do. I can see these and I know what to do with these. So then they're like, whoa, okay. And so it naturally gravitates into a solution if the person is willing and wanting to work on those. Because if they're like, yeah, I want to get there and I can see you know what you're talking about and this is it. Like, hey, how does this work? And so then your coaching program is the solution. And they literally are asking about it. You're not having to tell them or push it on them. And that's what I love how natural this is. Especially if you've been working that coach paragraph, the priming statement of you as a coach, because now the energy of you is passionate. You don't have to be a seller of your coaching program. You're being passionate about it, and they can tell you are in it. You love what you do. But the key factor is right here. Once you discover what's going on, do you jump to advice and then the conversation's over? Or do you jump to a couple free coaching appointments, which you can, and you could offer free solution, free appointments. But when you decide to go to this box and point out the problems, you're not doing this to manipulate somebody. This is not manipulation. This is clarification. And this is where majority of coaches skip the conversation, is they don't want to talk about the problems. They just avoid it. I watch coaches do this all the time. They avoid talking about the problem and literally clarifying, this is where the problem is. As far as I can see so far, this is where we need to focus. There's nothing wrong with that. That's called clarity. And you want to know what else that's called? It's called being an expert. Experts are first experts at seeing the problem before they ever talk about the solution. You will know when someone is an expert when they can point out where it falls apart, where the problem is. Those are experts when they can identify what the problem is. But some people think experts are people who have solutions. That's why you might be spending too much time on your content trying to be an expert. And I see people promote that. I've got content, and so I'm an expert. Look at me. I wrote a book. Look at me. I wrote a program. Look at me. I'm an expert because I have a book. I have a program. I have a course. I'm an expert. It's like, that doesn't make you an expert. The first way I find out if a coach is an expert, I ask them, tell me what the problems are that people have. That's how you find out if somebody's an expert. What are the problems people face? That's the true sign of an expert. So when you hear people say, go write a book, go write a course, go build a website so you can have expert status. For what? If you don't know what the problem is, you have no idea how to fix it. I'm going to share a secret with you. I wish that people would ask me, what are the problems you see, Kirk, that people face? Because then I know they really are headed the right direction as a coach. But generally what people ask me is they ask me, well, what technique do I do? What's the technique? Tell me more techniques. Give me like 20 techniques. They want all the answers, but they don't ask me where the problems are. And so I know they have no idea where to apply those answers. Answers don't get you anywhere unless you know the questions, the problems. But I see coaches, and I hope I can change the way you do things today. I see coaches gathering up content from everybody. They come watch my webinar, they go watch other people's webinars, and they just scoop up content thinking that's going to get them paid clients, is to have so much content. That doesn't get you clients. No, what gets a client is when you can point out the problem more clearly than they have ever seen it before. Because then they already know you can fix it. Because if you can see it, you must be good at this. And when you can see someone's problem more clearly than they have ever seen it before, they will hire you. They're like, oh, wow, you, come here, work for me. Like, how did you do that? That's what they want. They want somebody who sees deeper, more clearly than they can. That means you're looking at the problem. You're looking for the problem. But here's your challenge. Okay, brace yourself on this one. The challenge is you don't look at your own problems and write them out and clearly dig into what your own problems are. So that's why it's hard to look at somebody else's problems. Because if you can't see your own, it's tough to see somebody else's accurately. So the more you work on your own problems and find your problems, you will find the problems in other people. And that will get you that credibility you're looking for. That will get you that expert level. I know lots of people who have written books, but those books didn't get them clients. Because what is it? They're handing out their solutions. They're not talking about the problems, deep problems. I know people who write all these courses and have all this stuff, and they still don't have clients. And I'm showing you the framework of where they're missing it. They don't talk about the problem that their client is having. They don't clearly identify it. They're afraid to bring up problems. I was told by a person one time that said, this is in front of like 800 people. They said, when you talk about problems, you're going to manifest more problems. I said, no, you don't. When you talk about problems, you can fix them. You don't manifest them. How can you fix something you can't see? Tell me how you do that. And this was a coach. They said, I don't talk about problems because I don't want to manifest them. Obviously, you have no clue how manifestation works. You have no idea how this works. I said, I point out problems so they don't sabotage you, so they don't eat a hole in your soul, so they don't stab you in the back, so they don't rip you off. If you don't see the problems, then they are costing you money and time and energy and sanity and your soul and your relationships. If you don't see the problems, they are costing you big time. And for some reason, when I talk about this, it doesn't stick with people to look for the deepest part of the problem. Look for it. And when I say look for it, I'm talking like, hey, look, here's a tree. I'm talking like get into the roots. Get into the roots of it. Like, what is the source of the problems? Like really dive into it, not just a little bit, but dive in. So, okay, I've gone through this a couple of times, so I hope you get it. So you're like, Kirk, but no, wait, what do I do again? What am I doing? What are the 4 steps to a sale? Connect to the person, chit chat, talk to them with the intention. You know who you are as a coach, why you're doing this, who you want to work with, what the possible outcome is, and you love it. So you got that mindset. Discover their life. Where are they? And while they're sharing with you what's going on, listen for where the problems are. Listen. Oh, but Kirk, I'm an opportunist. Okay. Listen to the opportunity and where the problem is that's keeping them from getting their opportunity. Find out what's slowing them down, what's holding them up, because this is so true right here. People have challenges and problems and they run into them and then they turn around and they go back. Every human being is having the same issue. Then you offer to help them with a number of conversations. And so the conversation about your coaching program comes out in slow details. Connect, discover, listen for the opportunity of the problem, provide yourself as a solution. But if it is a connect, discover, and it's like this short little tiny bit of advice, and that's all it is, then give them some advice. take a moment and coach them with that bit of advice. But if you can see, wow, this has got a lot more to it, then take the opportunity to talk about the problems and how long they've been wrestling with it and what they've been doing and what's been going on and what have they tried. And then offer yourself, your time, your energy to help them with the solution. This is such a great conversation. I hope this wasn't too much. So let's keep it simple. Connect, find out how they're doing, see an opportunity where you can help them, tell them about how you can help them. It's a conversation. It is so beautiful. It is so, so beautiful. And if you're wrestling with pricing, like, where do I price myself, Kirk? Take a snapshot of this really quick. When I'm working with people to become coaches, I suggest they have a handful of free clients. Then we move up to having 3 appointments between $20 and $100 per appointment, or for the whole 3 appointments. And then we move up to the next level, the next level, the next level. If you happen to be stuck right here, this is actually the most common place for coaches to be stuck, is for $100 for 3 appointments. And I know you're going to think, well, that's hardly any money. It's like, well, that's where the majority of coaches are at, is because they're hung up on the price because they lack passion. They don't have a paragraph that tells why they're a coach. And so that's why they're hung up on price. But the more you tell that story that we talked about in the beginning, you will find yourself moving up, and moving up in how you do this as a coach. It's beautiful. And so you probably will have, a good handful of clients that you're going to practice with. And then per appointment, you'll get a couple here and your confidence will start to build. And then this is per appointment. And then you might bump up to here where now you're 150 per appointment. And then all of a sudden, boom, your confidence just skyrockets. But the paragraph I shared with the beginning and the framework I just showed you with this right here about the problem portion and offering yourself as a solution is a great conversation to practice. And so as you work through your clients, you could at one time have a free client, somebody who's paying you $75 per appointment, someone who's paying you $150, and somebody who's paying you $500 an hour. You could have a person in each one of those levels at the exact same time because of your rapid growth. If it's going to feel weird, but it's okay because it just happened along the way with your progress. So it has to do with your head. We got that. Check. You are in the gap. That's where you are to move people from point A to point B. You have your story of why, who, possible outcome, and that you love it. That's to get your head going, right? One of the other blocks I want you to be aware of is you're going to run into the unorganized block. You're going to run into that. So you need to work on this a little bit each week, to work on your office, work on your notes, just to work on it so that, it doesn't completely stop you. So work on that block so you can get through this. The next block you'll run into is direction of how to do your coaching. Sometimes this is even a skill, even like skill-based will create this next block. Then usually it's very predictable. Imposter syndrome will kick in because it's like, oh, who am I? How am I supposed to do this? And if imposter syndrome pops up, then you're going to usually feel unqualified. That's a big wall for coaches. And then the last big wall before a coach really accelerates is people issues. People in their past, people in their present. They just have relationship challenges because every client is a relationship. And so that tends to be one of the big walls at the very end that coaches get hung up on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've identified 6 mental blocks you're working yourself through. If you are up against any one of these walls, it is normal and predictable. I do know how to get through these walls. Every single one of these. I personally coach. I also group coach. So there's two different ways to get my time and attention on you to help you through these walls. Because you're up against one of these. Because if you're not, you're having paid clients sign up every month. Just boom, 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 boom. And if you have a bunch of clients, it's time to raise your price. Just a little bit, not a lot. Because you need extra money to pay for other resources and a personal assistant to help you. You need to expand and then start doing videos and start, getting out there bigger in the world. But you're up against one of these somewhere. And if you're looking for someone to help you, I've been doing this for 15 years and I know how this works and what's behind the scenes and really what's in your roots that's messing with your fruits. So it's how I roll. It's how I work. It's just my brain's always on this of helping people become the best coach that they've ever become in their entire life. Because I understand the mental blocks, the emotional blocks, the social blocks, the spiritual blocks, the financial blocks that you will predictably run into. If you think you don't have any of these blocks, okay. Just make sure you're hitting your goal every month. And if you can't hit your goal every week and every month, you know where to turn to. I'm here for you, especially in the world of coaching. So one way you can work with me is personally. You can work with me personally, which I would just absolutely love being with you personally. That's my ultimate favorite is one-on-one. Nobody else is around. I get to completely focus on you. I just, so much can happen in an appointment, in a series of appointments. And my personal coaching right now is 5 months. It's 5 months. You get a lot of Kirk Duncan attention, but I will back off my attention if you don't listen to what I give you to do. Because it's like, I'm not going to give you more. If you don't do what I suggest, it's like, well, then you do your own thing then. But if you're going to hire me, I would highly suggest you do what I say, because I know what I'm talking about. And I want to help you save time, save money, and get where you want to go as soon as you can. Because honestly, you can get where you want to go through time. You can get the sales you want and to take a long time to do it, because that's just how it works. Time and experience, you'll learn. But if you want a shorter curve, like boom, you want to have a shorter amount of time and have those clients, then wow, add me to your coaching list of coaches to have me be part of your life. So you can decide, you can choose whichever one you want. You decide if you got lots of time to wait and do it, or if it's like, no, I got to just get this done. Let's do this. So I love it when clients send me cool things like, hey, I did it again, $5,000 program sold. And some of these are just crazy awesome. $6,800 right after a webinar, $14,000 with a program they created, 16,000 in 23 days. I love this person. The personal coaching with them and hitting the 50,000 mark. I mean, it's all powerful. It's all powerful. And it's all possible with energy. You have to have the energy to create the energy. So you prime your pump, right? You got to have the energy. And then there's all kinds of things to fine tune in you to channel more energy, to have your pipe increase so you can pull more of that reservoir. You might be like a 1-inch pipe right now to your reservoir, but that could be a 12-inch pipe and just pumping thousands of gallons of energy through you because there's so much passion. You could help so many people around the world. So it depends where you want to be as a coach, what level you want to play at, how many clients you want. But I'm here to encourage you to look at this and not skip the problem conversation. And it's okay to talk about people's problems because that's where they need help the most. Nobody else talks to them about it or will listen to them. You be the person. Get into this square, get into this corner of it, of these 4 corners of the 4 steps to a sale. And you're not doing it for the sale. You're doing this because you want a client. The byproduct will be the sale, but you want to help them where it really hurts the most. But they need to know that you're that kind of person, right? So if some of this, it's like, oh man, I wish I could do that. And you feel like you're up against one of these walls, and I could put all kinds of labels on this. In fact, one webinar, I laid out I think 20 different mind blocks. It was too much. I did too much on that webinar. But if you're interested in become the best coach that they've ever met, I've built programs, very successful programs. Most of these programs produce between 300,000, 500,000 a year. And even a couple of these classes were $1 million a year classes, $1 million a year. And so I know how to build programs, 3-day programs, coaching programs, content. Boy, we could create all kinds of content. But where you want me to help you is not only with content, but with your head. I can help you get in alignment and move more energy, passion energy through you. You'll have what it takes to work with people. And so you could work with me one-on-one, or you could check out this program, the Coach Fast Track program. It's where you learn about content, you learn about coaching skill and practice it, and you learn everything that all works to have paid clients. We make it almost impossible to fail as a life coach. Now, but I got to warn you though, this is about application. Success when it comes to your personal growth, yes, get the education, but you need equal amounts of energy spent on application. So this is a great program to look into because it is literally the best class, best program I've ever built out of any class, because my whole team helped me build it. It is phenomenal. It is blow my mind phenomenal. So if you want to find out about this, what is it? How's this work? How do I get into this? What you do is scan this code or go to 3k.2/let's coach. And I think they're going to put it also in the chat box right now. But jump on a call. This is to book a phone call. Okay, so this is a book a phone call. So we can find out where you're at as a coach. And then we can tell you about the coaching program, give you all the details. So then you can think about it if this is the right time and the right fit for you. So when you click this link or go to this link or scan that code, it's going to take you to a questionnaire. That's a couple of questions. And there are questions we put in there so we can learn about you and where you're at. Then after you answer the questions, then you will book a call, which means pick a day, pick a time. And it's about a 45-minute. If I'm on the call, it's a little bit longer because I asked so many questions. But we find out where you're at, and then we tell you where we're at and what we could do to help you. And I'm telling you, you'll get super inspired by this conversation. But go ahead and jump on here, answer the questions, and then book a call to find out about this Coach Fast Track program. And if you want to work with me personally, then let's see, my assistant Adam is helping me right now. Adam, will you put in the chat box the email for the client services so that they can email that and express interest in working with me one-on-one? Have them go ahead and just email there. Could you put that in the chat box for me? That'd be super cool. Thanks, Adam. But yeah, for the Coach Fast Track program, go here and check it out. There's no pressure in the conversation. We are not trying to sell you on the Coach Fast Track program, because if they have to sell you on this, you're not going to do the work. You have to be the kind of coach who's ready to get going, who needs to fill in some of the gaps, the things you don't know how to do, and your business isn't working the way you thought it was going to be. This is going to fill in the gaps in many ways that you never even thought of. This is well put together to fill in the gap so that you can do great work, so you can coach people, so you can be out there to help them, because everything is timing. When someone is struggling, sooner or later, they start looking for answers. Many times that answer will come from another person. When you get an idea that could help others, that is called an inspiration. And if you act on that inspiration, you will play a part of the miracle in answering that person's prayer. They're going to go looking for help. And when somebody's struggling, sooner or later, they're going to reach out. And they might even reach out to their higher power, wondering like, what do? We need help. I don't know how to do this. And then you get inspired. Something happens, like you're available. You want to help people. And then you get an idea that comes to you. And you're wondering, wow, who's this for? And when you get organized, this other person is getting also prompted and inspired to come find you because you've been given the idea. Did you hear that? They asked for help. Source gave you the idea and also now prompts them to come find you. So when the two of you follow through, you actually connect and you have answers for their questions. And you got to play a very vital role in the miracle of them having answers. To me, it's miracles. I have seen so many miracles happen because I was willing to act on that inspiration. It's timing. You have been inspired to teach. You've been inspired to do something. And every time you hide that, and you hide it under the rock, or you hide it under the bushel, or you hide it from the world, that is somebody else asking for help. Somebody else asked for help, and then that idea got sent to you. Build this, do this, get yourself out there because people need help. And you're part of the miracle. And so if you hide it, you don't get to be part of it. Somebody else is going to do it. There's always somebody else that God will turn to. If he'll come to you, but if you're not going to do it and you're going to think you're dumb or you're stupid or you can't do these things or you're not, because you got low energy and your pipe is dry, it'll move on to somebody else, but you miss out. And I'm telling you right now, you do not want to miss out. This experience of being there and being part of an answer for other people's lives is an absolute miracle every time. If you want to see the goodness and greatness of this world and humanity, you get involved with showing up. And you get your head straight with the priming paragraph. You get your head straight so you can show up. And if you want help, you want me to coach you on how to do this and fill in the gaps like you've never even knew that there was things that you had gaps about, go check this out. Jump on a call. It's not going to take much time and we are not going to pressure you. We're going to inform you of the Coach Fast Track program. So you can take a look at it, see what we're doing, see what we're up to. Because we're all about filling in the gaps. I know what my mission is, and it is to train and empower those who are being inspired to teach others so they can get it done now. There are children who are suffering. There are women who are suffering. There are men who are suffering. There's marriages that are suffering. There's businesses that are suffering, and you are part of the answer. And as of today, no more hiding. You get to show up and do your part that you're being called to do. I've got 3 kids, 3 boys. And I'm their dad, but they also are going to be seeking for coaches and mentors. And I figure if I help enough coaches and mentors get ready and be prepared, I hope that they can find a coach and mentor that fits them, that's ready, that's passionate, that's in tune. I pray to God all the time with all the hard work I do to help other people to be ready. Please send my kids coaches and mentors who are ready so that they can have the best experience ever. So it's part of my priming the pump. If I can help you, I hope that goes around the whole fire circle there. And I hope it goes around and that even my own kids, even my own wife can have the kind of coach and mentor that will help them fill in their gaps so they can get where they're going to go. And you are doing the same for other people's kids, other people's marriages, other people's families. You're that person, but you got to get it in your head, right? You totally got to get it in your head. And you're either going to go up or down. Today's the day, though, to go up. Love it. Absolutely love it. It's worth my time to be here with you for these 2 hours this morning to share this with you and to help you see really where you stand. And where you stand is right in the gap. That's where you and I have been built to be. And you have the knowledge, you have the experience, you got to just get after it. And if you want help, we're here to help you. You want to be trained, we're here to train you. We've been doing this a long time, and I know what I'm doing. And I know what works and what doesn't work. I could save you a lot of time and effort. Just reach out to us. Love to work with you. Super cool. Love it. Absolutely love it. So thank you. Thank you for being here today. I hope maybe one of these, it's either be one of my managers who will be on the call, and I'm also in the rotation of the calls. So yeah, there could be a chance that it'll be me that would be on the call. There's a chance, not always a guarantee. But either way, you jump in on the Coach Fast Track or work with me personally. Wow, you're going to get a lot of insight of what you can do to be able to make the difference. So you're ready and prepared to do what you've been called to do. So you can be part of the movement that's happening. Beautiful. Cool. Love it. Thanks, everybody. Thank you for being here. And I hope to talk to you again. All right. Love you guys. See ya. Bye-bye.